Hey gang, let's talk about Sarah T. Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic, which is almost impossible to say without saying Portrait of a Serial Killer. I don't know why, but that's it. Let's see, 1975, Linda Blair, Larry Hagman, Verna Bloom, Mark Hamill, William Daniels, one more. Had them all memorized. Michael Lerner. How about that? Directed by Richard Donner. A couple reasons I bought this. This is a made-for-TV movie from 1975. First, Richard Donner. I wanted to see what he could do with TV. He's an excellent director. One of my favorites, which is a long list of directors. Second, I got my own demons with alcoholism. I've hit on them before, but yeah, it does. It talks about being hereditary, and it is hereditary. I'm not going to hit on any more than that. It is what it is. It was what it was. How about that? And also, this is Linda Blair at around 15, showing us that she can knock it out of the park. One of the reasons I got this is because I'm such a fan of The Exorcist and Linda Blair in The Exorcist, not just because I love the movie, but because of the ability she had at that age to do what she did and make that movie fantastic. And it's no different in this film. Yeah, it's a totally different movie, and I'm not going to compare the two whatsoever, but her acting and her ability to bring it to the screen as well as television is phenomenal. I can't, like I said, I'm not going to compare the two because there's such a night and day, but the talent and the ability is equal in both. She is fantastic in this movie. So like I said, it deals with teenage alcoholism. I watched a documentary on it afterwards with Richard Donner and one of the producers, David Livingston. And they talked about how they wanted to do this, and Richard Donner wasn't really up for it because he didn't think of alcoholism as coming from that age, and Livingston, being an alcoholic himself, took him to an AA meeting, and there was a kid there around the age of 10 that really got to Donner, so that's what got him involved in the project. The project was already there, but he wanted him to do it, and he'd worked with him on TV before, and he wanted this to happen, so it did. Little Sarah, 15 years old, she is coming from a divorced family. Her father is an alcoholic, I would assume. They kind of hint at it, but they don't really come out and say it. They do little things with it. So they're trying to show the hereditary part of it, which is absolutely, like I said, true. The mother and the new stepfather are very wealthy. They're very well-to-do. They have parties all the time. There's booze everywhere. So this girl is not only emotionally in that time in her life where emotions are running. Not only is she only 15 and she's going through all of that as a teenager, she's also going through the divorce, and now she's seeing all this booze in front of her. It's just so natural to do, and she takes up the drinking. When we come to find out later in the movie, she had been doing this for a while. It wasn't just something that started. This started about the time of probably the breakup and going further. She's very she's broken, but she knows how to play it, which most of us that go through this, most of us alcoholics, we know how to work this to our advantage. And I know exactly, kind of what she's going through, but in a different angle. You know, I haven't had a drink in 20 years, and very proud of that. And it's not a good thing if I do. It's very, 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 very bad every time. I usually wake up in some form of blood. I instantly fight, and it's just something that I started when I was very young, and sneaking here and sneaking there, and so I get kind of what she's going through there. Where was that with this? But anyway, she's got this problem. She meets this young man through her mother trying to play matchmaker and set him up, played by Mark Hamill, which I can't remember if I said his name at the beginning. This is pre-Star Wars, and now I love Mark in Star Wars. I think he does a fantastic job. Why is fantastic my new favorite word? That's really irritating me. But anyway, he does a great job in Star Wars, and I have another movie, Corvette Summer, which I really, really enjoy. But in this, he is excellent. He is absolutely, everybody in this movie is great. I don't know why I hadn't heard of this, or maybe I had heard of it because of Linda Blair and just kind of put it on the back of my mind or whatever. But Mark Hamill specifically and Linda Blair steal this show. Mark Hamill has such a small part. I mean, he's got a good, presence, a lot of presence here, but his part's kind of just underlining. But at the end, there's a scene that is so emotional that he pulls it off big time, and I can see why Lucas would use this guy. I know he didn't use it because of this film or nothing like that, but he is really, really good. I can't really say enough about him. But anyway, she goes through a lot. She goes to an AA meeting. She is total denial. She even is seen by one of the other ladies there, young people. There's a lot of young people in this meeting, and putting booze into her punch. And she walks out of the meeting and goes through a lot of other stuff, and then we wrap up the movie with a positive ending, as positive as you can get ending. Okay. But yeah, make sure you guys check this out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure a lot of you guys that I talk to, Mike and Harry, that's not a lot of guys, that's 2 guys, you've probably seen this or heard of it. From what I hear, what I heard on the documentary, which I didn't know this, in the 70s, I guess alcohol and teenage alcoholism was really, really, really big thing, because everybody was drinking because it was so hard to go and buy marijuana. It was more risky when you could stay at home and steal liquor out of your parents' liquor cabinets, because that was so predominant then. Everybody had a liquor cabinet, including, in the 80s and 90s when other people grow up. But, they did find, there's a scene where the housekeeper is fired because they found that there had been water in the scotch, which is a common trick. Come on. But, yeah, it just shows the pain and agony that this can put on a family, and this can do to a person, and it's specifically pointing at a teenager. And Linda Blair, I'm just telling you, man, she blows it out of the water. And beautiful as ever, and so talented. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. That's 9.5 minutes on a TV movie. So, you guys are probably tired of looking at my ugly mug. So, until next time, I'm starting to do like these little random reviews with just stuff I watch. If I watch it and then just set up and film something about it, it happens. But if I say, man, I'm going to film that in a little bit, that never happens. Never. If I get out of this fucking chair without turning that on, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to come back to it. So here's what you get. Impromptu me. Have a nice night. Later.